The Millionaire Mastermind Academy was created to champion women who aspire to elevate their lives from poverty to a promising future through empowered entrepreneurship. As of April 2020, women accounted for 60% of the 700,000 jobs that have been eliminated in the U.S. so far due to COVID-19. We can and will turn that around.
I was in tears because, she is a great mentor, and I just saw the things that she did in helping, other young women start their businesses. So we were just like, we got to get in this program.
Yes.
Through our programs, we have launched 37 businesses, coached 25 women to start their businesses. We've issued $10,000 in scholarships and will be distributing $25,000 in seed funding. We've held over 34 workshops, and we've mentored over 5,000 women through our Millionaire Mastermind monthly economic empowerment events.
My overall experience with the program, I would say it would have been mind-blowing.
Your support means that Millionaire Mastermind Academy can continue to provide women with the entrepreneurial training, mentorship, and access to information to have sustainable entrepreneurial success and end the cycle of poverty.
You've always been interested in entrepreneurship. You see entrepreneurs online, in the fancy cars, the fancy homes, the fancy vacations. How did they do it? Welcome to the official YouTube channel of Dr. Velma Trayham. Entrepreneurship is the way out of poverty. Here, you'll be empowered to take action. You'll learn how to break generational curses and cycles. If you're looking for life-changing advice for professional and personal growth, you've found your new home. Let's close the door on poverty. And now, the woman that will teach you how, Dr. Velma Trayham.
They see the glory, but they don't understand the story.
You've always been interested in entrepreneurship. You see entrepreneurs online, in the fancy cars, the fancy homes, the fancy vacations. How did they do it? Welcome to the official YouTube channel of Dr. Velma Trayham. Entrepreneurship is the way out of poverty. Here, you'll be empowered to take action. You'll learn how to break generational curses and cycles. If you're looking for life-changing advice for professional and personal growth, you've found your new home. Let's close the door on poverty. And now, the woman that will teach you how, Dr. Velma Trayham.
They see the glory, but they don't understand the story.
The Millionaire Mastermind Academy was created to champion women who aspire to elevate their lives from poverty to a promising future through empowered entrepreneurship. As of April 2020, women accounted for 60% of the 700,000 jobs that have been eliminated in the U.S. so far due to COVID-19. We can and will turn that around.
I was in tears because, she is a great mentor, and I just saw the things that she did in helping, other young women start their businesses. So we were just like, we got to get in this program.
Yes.
Through our programs, we have launched 37 businesses, coached 25 women to start their businesses. We've issued $10,000 in scholarships and will be distributing $25,000 in seed funding. We've held over 34 workshops, and we've mentored over 5,000 women through our Millionaire Mastermind monthly economic empowerment events.
My overall experience with the program, I would say it would have been mind-blowing.
Your support means that Millionaire Mastermind Academy can continue to provide women with the entrepreneurial training, mentorship, and access to information to have sustainable entrepreneurial success and end the cycle of poverty.
Hello and good afternoon and good morning to some of you. I am super excited to be here today. Today, we are celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. What an honor it is to do that and to see how far we've come as a nation and also as a country. The Millionaire Mastermind Academy was launched in 2016 with an aim to end poverty through entrepreneurship for women worldwide, minority women and African American women, to be more specific. I am super excited today to interview an amazing friend of mine, which also happens to be a board member and an iconic leader, Joe Lubeck, and I want to dive into that here really soon. First, why don't we give honor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 94 years ago, after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth on January the 15th, 1929, and nearly 60 years after his historic I Have a Dream speech, Martin Luther King Jr. stirring words and writings remain as relevant and inspiring today as they were when he lived. And the amazing thing about this is we're walking in the freedom that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. fought for. He fought for freedom. He fought for equality, and he fought for us to have an opportunity to vote. And so it's truly, truly amazing to be able to walk in what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has done. So why don't we take this time to honor his legacy with a brief video before we jump into our fireside chat today.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. In what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. We will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
What's the name of our school? You need to listen into our hearts, right?
We should celebrate it because he deserved it. He risked his life for us to have a voice to speak up against racism.
Wow, what an honor, what an honor. Every time I get an opportunity to just, I don't want to get emotional here. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an iconic leader, and it's for people like him where it's the reason that we're truly walking in the freedom that we're walking into. So thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., for your sacrifice and your fight. I say that to him. I know that he's in heaven. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our special guest today, Mr. Joe Lubeck. He is so near and dear to my heart. Let me just say that he is truly a freedom fighter. He's iconic. He's a leader. And when you talk about equality and freedom, he is a man that stands in the gap for those that are underrepresented and excluded. Joe is also the founder and CEO of American Landmark Apartments. He was the original founder of Landmark Apartment Trust, which sold its portfolio in 2015 for $1.9 billion. But more than anything else, Joe Lubeck is amazing, and I'm happy to have him here today. And we're going to talk a little bit today about the power of thinking big. So help me to welcome Joe Lubeck. Welcome.
Thank you, Velma. Thank you, Dr. Velma. It's such an honor to be here with you today. And I'm particularly honored, of course, always to be in your presence and to appreciate our friendship and what we've done together. But it's also very meaningful to me that you've given me the opportunity to be a guest on such a special day. Because Dr. Martin Luther King, as we all know, is one of the greatest names, not only in the United States, not only in the Black movement, but one of the greatest leaders of all time in so many ways. And of course, the little efforts that we do pale in comparison, but nevertheless, I'm honored and most appreciative that you've chosen me to speak with you and with your audience today. And, I have to say, Dr. King was about empowerment and equality. And one of the things that I think brought us together, Velma, and why I feel it's so important that we continue to work within the guidelines that you've established at the Millionaire Mastermind Academy, is that now what has to happen in the United States, and of course elsewhere in the world, but today we're focused on the United States, is economic empowerment. And that the real goal towards establishing true equality is not just equality in the marketplace and equality of the vote and equality in education, but equality in economic access. And in the responsibility that those of us who have been successful entrepreneurs have to push other people up the ladder with us and to utilize our success to help others succeed, not through handouts, but through education, not through gifts and grants from the government, but through empowerment and access to economic tools and to economic wealth. And I think that that's what brought us together. I'm so blessed the day that I saw you online, and I've been thinking so much in my mind about that I really felt capitalism and entrepreneurship really could bring so much to the underserved communities. And I started with nothing. I know you started with nothing. I left home at 15 with $400. So I've had the opportunity to be the American dream. I grew up with a single mom. So the access to economic empowerment is very meaningful to me. And I've been blessed in my business career through a lot of hard work and a lot of risks that entrepreneurs take. But God has graced me with great success, and I want to have the opportunity through you to share that opportunity with others.
Wow. So honoring, Joe. And, you truly walk and you live the life of empowering others and as well as being a solution to a problem. There is a quote that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke during a speech in 1961 that reads, "As long as there is poverty in this world, no man can no man can be totally rich, even if he has $1 billion. Poverty." I believe that poverty is a state of mind, Joe. And as I look at, well, first of all, as I hear how you left home at the age of 15 with $400, and as I think about my journey of navigating through adversities and out of poverty, born and raised in Houston, Texas, it's truly about changing the way that we think. I want to dig a little deeper, Joe, because when you think about where you are now and starting with $400 at the age of 15, can you talk a little bit about kind of like your upbringings and what was the mindset that you had when you said, you know what, I have nothing to lose, but I have everything to gain? What was that mindset like?
Well, I was very blessed, Velma, that my mother, who was a single mom, and I grew up with my grandparents, who really blessed me, and I never missed a meal. But the first thing they empowered me with was first positive thinking, confidence in myself that I could achieve whatever I set out to do. Secondly, to instill in me a work ethic, that I could not count on others to deliver me to the point that I wanted to be at in my life and what I wanted to accomplish in my life. That, of course, you can enlist the help of others, you can enlist the advice of others, but it's frankly all about hard work. And it's about taking some risks. And it's about, sometimes you get kicked and sometimes you fall down. And it's all about getting back up again and doing what you need to do. And I was given that strength when I was young. And the most important thing that I was told of all things was education. And I was able to work my way through college. And then I was lucky enough to work my way through law school. And believe me, I did every job there was. I mowed lawns, I shoveled snow, I did dishes. And then after I graduated college and I wanted to go to law school, I got a job working in a car dealership selling cars. And I went to school from 8 to 2 every day. And then I sold cars from 2 to 8 every day. And I managed to graduate from law school, and it was all about education, but I worked the whole time. So work ethic is important, but confidence and the ability to succeed and knowing that you have to do it for yourself. And that's what entrepreneurship was all about. And I think sometimes well-meaning people through charity and through government grants think that they're going to help people out of poverty. But in fact, in my humble opinion, they're really just reinforcing the cycle of poverty and locking people in to becoming dependent on the government. And that dependence is just another form of slavery. So you have to become independent, you have to become self-sufficient, and you don't have to have a college education, but you darn sure have to have a good work ethic. And frankly, one of the things I know, I have yet to meet a Black woman who doesn't have a great work ethic and who isn't out there working hard. And that's part of what we think is so important about this program, is helping them to work for themselves and to become employers, not employees. And I think that's a real goal. We all know the biblical story about if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, and you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So we want to create fishermen and fisherwomen who not only are going to operate that fishing boat, but then they're going to say, it's time to buy a second fishing boat and hire 2 more fishermen and fisherwomen to work for me. And that's the way that we're going to break the cycle of poverty.
Wow, that is so powerful. To all of the people that are on this Zoom, and for the hundreds of people that are viewing online and viewing across the social media platforms that we're actually streaming on, and then the thousands of people that will get an opportunity to hear this message in the future. What Joe just said was positive thinking is very important. A work and the of never giving up. Also education. He mentioned education. And lastly, he mentioned confidence. Those are, you know what, if I really think about how I got myself out of poverty, Joe, if I could summarize it, it would literally be in this order. First of all, we have to think positive. Life and death, I believe, is in the power of the tongue. And the words in which we speak is what we begin to feel about ourselves. It's how we think about ourselves. And so if we feel like we are a failure, then we speak those things. And then guess what? Those things manifest. And I remember when I first started my entrepreneur journey, my first 3 businesses failed. And I thought, wow, I'll say this. Failure is not a pretty thing, but I don't call it failure right now. I call it learning opportunities, an opportunity to learn and an opportunity to prepare yourself for greatness. And what I did with with what I learned through going through my first 3 companies that actually failed, I decided that I was going to take everything that I learned through that process and continue to go. And who would have known 10 years later that I would have embarked upon a very successful business journey, and not only for myself, but now to have impacted more than 8,000 women across the country. I truly believe that ending poverty, Joe, as you mentioned, education is important. And it doesn't have to be traditional education. I like that you said that it didn't have to be a college degree. It's something very interesting. And now I'm not saying that we don't need I'm not saying that some people don't need a college degree. Education is important. You need to educate yourself in whatever it is that you do. But what I am saying is that some form of education, some forms of education, shall I say, is non-traditional education. If the entrepreneurial path is for you, then you'll want to make sure that you're surrounded with the right people, you have the right mentors, you have a positive mindset in everything that you do. And that's exactly what we do here at Millionaire Mastermind Academy. I started this organization in 2016 because I obviously have a heart for women, and because I've come from poverty, I say, you know what, I am going to become the change that I want to see. And as you think about this, ladies, as you think about this, you have children, and if you don't have children, you have nieces and nephews, and some of you may even have grandchildren. What we're doing here at Millionaire Mastermind Academy is changing the trajectory for generational poverty and generational curses on our lives. Sometimes poverty it's just generation. It's passed down from generation to generation. And so what Joe and I are doing with some of our other partners here, we have decided to answer. We've decided to say, you know what? We are going to be the solution. As Joe mentioned, we can't depend on the federal government. And so what we did was we created this program to help women all across the world to combat poverty. That's what I want you to remember. Failure is permanent defeat, and never think that temporary failure is permanent defeat. Joe, thank you for sharing that. That was so profound. I get a lot of entrepreneurs that ask me, you know, how do you keep going when you are on E, when you feel that you're on E, when you feel that you don't have the confidence level in you. I'm sure, Joe, there were some times that you experienced some on E moments. What was the thing in you that kept you and that motivated you to keep on going?
Well, of course, another cup of coffee doesn't hurt. So I have another cup of coffee when I'm running out of energy. But well, in all sincerity, I know, Velma, this is a belief that you and I strongly share, which is have faith in God and God will have faith in you. God is your mirror. If you treat God as holy, God will treat you as holy. And we know we can't let God down. God will not let you down and will give you that strength. And this doesn't matter. We're all children of Abraham. You can be Christian, you can be Jewish, you can be Baptist, you can be Muslim. Doesn't matter. We're all children of God. We just read the book a different way. And if you have that faith in God, when you feel that you're nearing the bottom and you need that charge of energy, that's time to put your faith in God. And God will repay that many, many times over. And I'm living proof of that. And the other thing that I know a lot of people say sounds corny, but I truly believe is sometimes when you feel that you're down to your last dollar, maybe it's time to give that last dollar away to somebody who needs it more than you, because God will always repay you.
Wow. Powerful. Coffee, number one, y'all hear that. Coffee, number one. Number two is faith. I want to break down faith. I really want to break it down because, oftentimes we say this word, but I don't think a lot of us really understand what it is. The definition of faith is the substance of the things that we hope for, but it's the evidence of the things that we do not see. It's the substance of the things that we hope for, but it's the evidence of the things that we don't see. And so when you think about faith, when you think about what are you hoping for? What are you hoping for your family? What are you hoping for your future? What are those things that you're hoping for? What are you praying to God for? What are you seeking? What do you want to see happen in your life? Because change ultimately starts with you. So when you think about what you hope for and the evidence of the things that you don't see, which means that if you're hoping to build an empire, if you're hoping to build a company that you could provide job opportunities in your community or whatever the case may be, if you're hoping for it but you don't see how it's going to happen, that is the epitome of faith. That is the absolute epitome of faith. And so what I want to encourage you to do today as we are talking about the power of thinking big. It's the power of thinking big because everything that manifests in the natural realm, it is a direct start or correlation to what we think we can do, and then the faith that we decide to activate. Now, you need more than just prayer. And I know a lot of us, and especially myself, I grew up in Baptist, but you know what? I have a relationship with God, and that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter. I love that Joe mentioned that. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter. What matters is your relationship. The relationship is what matters. Religion doesn't matter. Relationship does. And so when I think about going through the process and having faith, I didn't know how a lot of things was going to work out for me. I didn't know how I was going to do things. I didn't know how I was going to do it. But what I did was I started to move in the direction that I wanted to go into. I started to help people. I love that Joe mentioned that giving is so important. It's so important. Many of us, and I have these conversations with thousands of women that I mentor. When you think about what you have right now and what you are experiencing right now, if you're experiencing a lack of finances, or if you're going through a challenging time right now, I want you to ask yourself this. You don't have to ask yourself out loud. You don't have to ask the person next to you. I want you because this is the Millionaire Mastermind Academy and these economic empowerment events. They're created to help you to do some really, really deep soul searching, because it's not until we really, really come into alignment with who God created us to be and what God created us to do. We were created here to solve problems. We are problem solvers. And most of us aren't solving the problems because some way, somehow, we've lost our identity in the world based on the things been around and based on the things that we have allowed to hear, the things that we've allowed to take into somehow. And I want you to kind of take and ask yourself, when is the last time you've given? When is the last time you've helped? When is the last time that you've sown seed into a ground that is fertile? Now, this is a principle that I live by. Whatever it is that you sow, shall you reap. And if you're not reaping anything, it's probably because you're not sowing. Now, I'll say this. If you are experiencing challenges right now in your life, I want you to think about what you sowed in the last season. And the reason I'm saying what you sowed in the last season is you don't get your harvest in the same season that you planted. So if you are starting to plant in this season, then you can expect to see harvest in the next season. And for people that are walking in a season of harvest, when you think about Joe Lubeck and when you think about the sacrifices he's made, when you think about my story and my journey and where I am right now, I will tell you this. I will never stop giving. And the reason I will never stop giving is because I know that I need to continue to solve problems in the world and that God put me here to solve problems. And giving and understanding the law of reaping and sowing is so very important. So I encourage you to figure out a way that you can sow. And some of you may say, well, I don't have the money to sow, or I don't. You know what? Guess what? It doesn't always have to be monetary sowing. You can sow your time into an organization. Millionaire Mastermind Academy, we're always needing volunteers. We're always needing ambassadors. We're always needing mentors. We're always needing people that will help us to get people out of poverty. This poverty thing is not something that one person can do, two people can do, three people can do. This is systemic. It is systemic. And so we have to work together to break down the barriers to the systemic problems that started decades and decades and decades ago. So we're rewriting laws, and laws are being rewritten, new laws are being implemented. Great things are happening, and I can tell you this is a profound time to be an entrepreneur. It is a profound time to be a business owner. It is a profound time to solve a problem. When you are solving a problem, ladies, when you're solving a problem, you will never need money. Money will always find solutions to a problem that exists. So thank you so much, Joe, for breaking that down. It was profound that you mentioned the sewing, which is so important, because I'm always hearing people say, well, what if I don't have the money to sew? Well, if you got $1, if you got $2, if you're smoking cigarettes, if you have the money to do some things that perhaps you can sacrifice to do something for someone else, it will reap a reward if you do the right. Or sitting down, meeting Joe, and I was trying my best not to cry, because I was like, oh my God, if I cry, if some tears come down my face, I don't know what I'm going to do. I was meeting ladies, Joe and I were meeting, and his team was there, which is absolutely phenomenal. And Joe's financial officer said, he said, did Joe share with you how this whole thing started, I said no. And when Joe told me the story, y'all, I was literally sitting up there. I don't know how I was trying to hold it in, but I was really trying to hold my tears in. But Joe, can you share with our audience how this thing started and then kind of where you are today?
Well, it really started, when I was very, very young, but I've been blessed with more success than anyone could ever imagine. And so an important part of my life is giving back. But when I first went out on my own, I had a good job. I was working for a company, and I had really worked very hard and created a big success for them. And this is why I believe so much in entrepreneurship, because it's great to create success for others, but it's also wonderful to create success for yourself. And after a long work period where I made a failing company successful for somebody else, they passed me over as CEO. They said I was too young. And I said, well, thank you very much, but I'm going to do this for myself. And I left my job. I didn't have a plan other than I knew that I was going to try and get into real estate. And I went home and told my wife, and my wife said, honey, I love you. I'm sure you can do this and be a big success. And then she cried for a week. And I had 2 little babies at home, and I'd taken a big risk. And I really wasn't sure how I was going to do it. But God sent me one investor, and I took every penny I had and a lot of what he had, and we bought one terrible little building in 1995 in St. Petersburg, Florida. And, the title of this talk is The Power of Thinking Big. And I guess I was thinking big. I was confident. I knew I would be successful. And I put a sign on the property that said, another fine landmark property. Now, it was the only landmark property at that time, but I knew it was just going to be one of another, and that if I worked hard enough, that success would follow. And on that first property, I was the leasing agent. I was the maintenance man. I was the middle of the night electrician, and I was the plumber. Now, remember, I already had a law degree, so I had really taken a big step backwards in terms of what I was willing to do. I was working day and night by myself. I was the only person working at this little property, and it was a terrible, terrible distressed property, and I fixed it up largely with my own hands. And then it became 2 properties and 5 properties and 10 properties, and then it became hundreds of properties. And the blessing of entrepreneurship and capitalism and hard work, and also giving. And I always gave, and whether you call it tithing or whether you call it tzedakah or whether you call it volunteering, it's all the same, and it's all part of God's plan. And what I want to assure all of you, believe me, this is not rocket science. It's hard work, but it's not rocket science. And what you learn in Millionaire Mastermind Academy, do you need to know how to keep a bank balance? Do you need to know how to keep a balance sheet? Do you need to know how to do your tax returns? Do you need to know how to calculate a profit? Yes, those are business fundamentals. You don't need a business degree from a 4-year college to do that. What you need first is heart and confidence and belief in yourself. And I can assure you, every one of you who is listening in today and who's taken the time and interest to invest a little time in finding out about Millionaire Mastermind Academy, or maybe started to take a program or consider signing up for a program, just the fact that you're considering it, I guarantee you, you've got it in you to succeed. I guarantee you, you've got it in you to go to the next step of economic empowerment and self-reliance and confidence for yourself and for your family and for your children. So yes, I've been blessed, but it started very, very small, and it started, frankly, I prayed a lot and I was scared a lot, but I also knew that it was more than just getting through the day. I know the day-to-day is sometimes hard. You say, God, let me just make it through today. I can't think about, I want to start a business, or I think I should start a coffee shop, or I think I should design scrubwear, or any one of a number of things that you think you can do. But trust me, think big, think ahead, put your efforts behind you and invest in yourself with your time and your energy. Because then, instead of working for someone else, you can be not only your own boss, but become an employer and help empower others to follow your path. So I've been very blessed, and I'm very appreciative. And again, not to sound corny, but the roadmap for success in life is in your Bible.
Wow, 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 wow. Okay, ladies, like, listen, if that wasn't empowering, I don't know what else. If that wasn't the epitome of the power of thinking big, I honestly don't know. You know, when I began to think about who do we want to come on for the very first economic empowerment event for the year of 2023, Joe Lubeck, starting with one. I want to read this to you, and this is from the National Multifamily Housing Council, the National Multifamily American Landmark Apartments, which Joe is the CEO of, is one of the fastest owner-operators in the United States, apartment owners in the country, with approximately 36,000 apartment units. Now, this was in August of 2022. I don't know what it is now. But as of August of 2022, 36,000 apartment units in its portfolio. Ladies, today is the day to begin to think big. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter how you start. All that matters is how you finish. And I believe that you have what you need on the inside of you to get started today. I believe that you have everything you need on the inside of you to start. I want to give you some practical steps to summarize some of what Joe mentioned in terms of how he was able to go from where he started with where he is right now today. The first thing I want you to do, I want you to look at the 5 closest people around you. I want you to look at the people that you spend your time with, the people that you're on the phone with. And even if you are someone that is scrolling social media all day, I want you to begin to do something different, because here's the thing. In order to get a different result, you're gonna have to do something different. There's no way you can expect something different doing the same thing that you're doing and that you've always done. I encourage you to begin, and this is only for the people that are perhaps the 5 closest people to them, are people that are not dreaming big, people that are not motivating and inspiring you, people that are energy bandits. I call people that drain your energy an energy bandit. Those people that are not motivating you, I advise you to start to change your circle. Change your circle and get around people that's going to challenge you to think big. My mentors, my advisors, my friends, they challenge me to do big things. And so now it's just in me. Every program that I think about when I'm working with corporations or when I'm working with government agencies, when I think at the biggest level of that I could possibly think of. And I say, you know what? I can do this, because the thought came in my mind first. And so the reason these economic empowerment events are so important is because we focus on the mindset. The mindset is so very important, because if you are anything like myself that was born and raised in extreme poverty, I had to purge, prune, and consecrate myself from the things that I learned as a child, the things that I heard, because whatever we hear, whatever we watch, those things are going to come out. Some type of way they're going to come out. And so when I began to diversify the way that I think, when I began to surround myself with positive people, then I began to see great things happen for me, in me, through me. And so this session happening at the beginning of the year is so profound and so powerful for you, for us, because we want to see you prosper. We want to see you living your life in purpose and on purpose. And that's truly why I've dedicated my life to helping women out of poverty. And it's truly why I'm so very grateful to connect with people like Joe Lubeck, who has a heart to help women out of poverty. I'll never forget, I met Joe online. This was 2.5 years into building the Millionaire Mastermind Academy. And at that time, I poured so many resources into the academy. I was, reaching out to people to help, and I did get some support. But I had some people that told me that it wasn't going to work, that women couldn't stick together, that most Black women don't really want help. Or I had so many crazy things said to me. And I prayed about this. I said, after hundreds and thousands of dollars later, I said, you know what, God, is this the path that you want for me? Is this what you want me to do? And I heard the Lord say yes. And it was very interesting. A couple of weeks later, I get a box from Mr. Lubeck that said, I love what you're doing and I want to support it. From there, we've been able to continue helping women around the country, and entrepreneurship is the way out of poverty. Now, some of you may not be or may not want to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. Let me tell you your place and your lot in life as well. You're still here to solve a problem. You may be working at an organization, a corporation, or in government. It is your duty, it is your responsibility to make sure that you use your position, the position that you're in, to also serve and help underrepresented communities. So not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. As you know, I'll say this: that if some people would have went absolutely crazy if they had to go through what Joe went through and what I went through, the first 3 companies failing, and so many other things, people thinking that you're crazy, just all of that. So it's the odds. When the odds are against you or against us, shall I say, it's entrepreneurship is not for everyone. So if you're that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever percent that entrepreneurship is not for, I want you to know that your voice is powerful, and whoever and whatever job you're working in and with, you have to be the voice. And you can solve a problem by helping your leader. You can solve a problem by helping your leader to help underrepresented communities. And so this has been very, 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 very powerful. Joe, I want to ask, as we bring this to closure, Joe, what is something that you would leave our audience with? If you were to leave 2 sentences, or I don't want to just break it down to 2 sentences, whatever it is that you want to leave them with, what would that be?
Believe in yourself, believe in the Lord, work hard, stay strong, and give back. And if you can follow those guidelines, then you can be, as Velma said, an inspiration to others as well. And, it was a blessing for me to find Velma. I kid her, but I mean in all sincerity that God sent her to me, because it's more blessed to give. And for me to be able to be involved and try and give back is a blessing for me and my family. And to try and establish economic empowerment in the community of underrepresented minority women and single moms is very powerful. And I just encourage all of you to pursue your dreams, stay strong, and don't wait another day.
Wow, that is so powerful. Ladies, hey, I'm blown away. I am actually inspired. If I'm inspired, I know that you are inspired, ladies, as we bring this to the you have in chat, grateful for Joe Lubeck and the work that he's done and he's doing. Thank you, Joe Lubeck, for supporting women across the country. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Your team is amazing. So I truly thank you for all that you've done, and thank you for being here today. As we close, ladies, I want you to remember that change starts with you. So I don't want you to just take this information and hoard it and then, prepare to go to your next event tomorrow, prepare to go to your next event today. You know how life is. It gets really busy and then we continue to just repeat a cycle. I really want for you after this event to take some time to go through the notes that you've taken, and hopefully you've taken copious notes today. I want you to take some time to do some really deep soul searching so that you can get yourself out of poverty, so that you can help your family, so that you can help to solve problems, and so that you can be part of a solution and not a problem. I want to thank everyone who's donated to the Millionaire Mastermind Academy. We cannot continue these programs without support from our participants and our corporate donors and our partners. Next, please make sure that you are on the Millionaire Mastermind Academy mailing list, Millionaire Mastermind Academy.org. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, and we are also on Instagram. We have several programs that are coming up, and we are in 4 markets. We are in Atlanta, Georgia. We service women in Phoenix, Arizona, Miami, Florida, and Houston, Texas. We have a accelerator program that is, the application portal is open right now. It's a supplier diversity readiness program to help women. Actually, this program is open for men and women. It's actually in Arizona. It's a Arizona program that's helping entrepreneurs do business with corporations and helping them to build the capacity to do business in the corporate space and with government agencies. It's called a Supplier Diversity Readiness Program. The website, if you would like to learn more about that, is Impact AZ 2025. Impact AZ 2025. We're only accepting about 50 people for this cohort. We also have a real estate accelerator program that we've partnered with American Landmark and Joe Lubeck for this. It is a Florida-based program. It's a hybrid model giving women an access and an opportunity to get into the real estate industry. It's very, very powerful program. We had some really, really great impact last year. And so we're expecting to have some really, really good outcomes this year. The real estate program starts in the fall. We don't currently have the application portal open yet, but please do join the mailing list on our website so that you can get updates for those programs. We have our monthly economic empowerment events, the 3rd Monday of every month. Our next one will be in Phoenix, Arizona. It will be a hybrid event, so make sure that you register for that. It is a diversity month event, and we're going to have some amazing women in Phoenix, Arizona, talking about how to scale your business global from a diversity standpoint. So again, we're just honored. We're excited. I get a lot of questions, like I'm getting a few of them now. How can you mentor me? How can Joe Lubeck mentor? How can we? I'll tell you this. We actually mentor through the Millionaire Mastermind Academy program. The thing I love about the program is we have resources. We have amazing people. We have mentors and advisors that are committed to making sure that you get to the next level. And so I do mentor through the Millionaire Mastermind Academy program. So those are all of my final remarks. Our program director will send out a survey. Please take 2 to 3 minutes to complete the survey. It helps us to increase the impact of our programs. It also helps us to get exactly what it is that you need so that you can take your business to the next level. And again, I appreciate those of you who donated to Millionaire Mastermind Academy. Again, we can't do this without your support. And for those of you that would like to donate, please go to millionairemastermindacademy.org. Just click the link in our donate page. And one last ask of you. We want to continue helping women out of poverty. If you have friends, family members, and people within your ecosystem that you know this program could change their lives, please do share this. Do not keep this a secret. We want to create impact, and you're part of that. We cannot do this without you. Just like the bad news spreads through media, all of that, we want to support you, and we want this to continue spreading too. We have some great things in store for 2023. We have a spiritual development retreat that we're actually putting together that we're looking to host in Jerusalem. Oh my God, in Jerusalem. More information to come on that, some amazing leadership programs. So thank you for being here. I hope that you enjoy your Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Remember that he fought for freedom and equality, and he fought for you to have the freedom to do exactly what we're doing today. And we want to thank Joe Lubeck. We want to thank him for everything that he's done. So Joe, I want to thank you and just continue being a blessing. And thank you again. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Velma, and likewise. Thank you for being you and for inspiring all of us, me included. You just bring light into all of our lives, and I hope that we can get a larger and larger segment of strong, powerful women to continue to enlist and grow the program.
Thank you, Joe. All right, ladies, we're closing out. God bless you all. Have an amazing day and an iconic week. Change starts with you. Bye.